This is Stock Talk, a discussion of stocks in the news with the analysts of Zacks.com. British Petroleum reported $5.3 billion in earnings this week. That's a big turnaround from the huge loss they reported about this same time last year. Now, the stock lost about half its value at one point last year, but it's up about 6% so far this year. And we're going to talk more about this turnaround situation with our stock strategists, Tracy Reineck and Michael Vodicka. And if these numbers are correct, which I have to assume they are, Tracy, then this is a real turnaround situation here.
It is, because it's not often you hear of a company losing $17 billion, like you said, and then suddenly they're profitable only a year later in the billions with the B.
Right.
But, oil has helped them, the price of oil. Obviously, it's higher than it was a year ago, and that's starting to, really help their bottom line. Mm-hmm. They're also sold off about $20 billion worth of assets in the last year to help pay the reasons behind the $17 billion loss last year, which was from the BP, the oil disaster in the Gulf. Yeah. And so they sold off that. They have some cash on hand. They are paying down the liabilities. Just this quarter, they put $2.5 billion more in this trust fund to pay people who were impacted. So, they're starting to wind that down, and it looks like in the next couple of quarters, they might be done with all their liabilities that we know of from that disaster. So that part is a great turnaround.
So what are we talking about here from bottom to top? A $22 billion turnaround year over year?
Yes, for this quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
big.
It is, but it wasn't for their underlying business, not quite as rosy as those numbers portray.
Okay.
They still had production was down about 11% in the quarter. For oil company, want to be increasing production. They still have the moratorium going on in the Gulf, which is where a lot of their production is located. So that impacted them. That won't probably be going forward as badly as that. As we go forward. So that should see a little bit of improvement. But, they missed on the estimates. The actual overall earnings is going to be down about $2 a share compared to last year. Mm-hmm. But given what was going on a year ago, this is starting to see, a decent turnaround. And the shares are actually pretty cheap here. Mike's going to talk about the chart, but it's only trading about 6 times, which, isn't exactly expensive.
Yeah, given what they've been through.
Yeah.
But now BP, Mike, says they expect the recovery to continue for the rest of 2011 with cash flowing in from new and existing operations around the world. That's what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Has all of this activity now created a huge upward momentum on this stock, or what's going on?
Well, kind of reaching back to what you had mentioned before, on a longer-term basis, the rebound for BP has been pretty awesome. Their shares bottomed out at about $25 from the Gulf of Mexico crisis, and since then, shares had topped off at $49.50. This is a 2-year chart here we're looking at, so you can see the big bounce off the bottom. So that was awesome. But moving forward here, the shorter-term picture is a little bit weaker. We've seen energy stocks under pressure in general in 2011 related to concern about global economic growth. Mm-hmm. And you do see that playing out in BP's share price. Shares actually topped out in early January, and it's been sort of a slow, lower grind since then. The momentum, I'd say right now, short term, is definitely a little bit lower. I've got a key level at 41 that people should pay attention to. Shares are trading at about $43 right now.
So not really the momentum that you might expect with a headline like that.
Not really. Like I said, the shorter-term picture over the last 6 months hasn't been that great. It's been an awesome rebound off the bottom, and the valuation picture is compelling. But energy stocks are kind of out of favor with the market right now, and we definitely see that show up in BP's share price.
Okay, we're going to have to keep an eye on this one too. Man, so many stocks here that we talk about. Going to have to keep an eye on to do some follow-up on. Thank you for joining us. We thank our stock strategists as well. We always talk about stocks in the news here on Stock Talk, and so that'll do it for this installment. Look ahead till next week. We'll see what the headlines bring us.